and welcome to your Instashapes class today. Before we jump into our Insta shape, this shape is very opening through the hips. Opening, strengthening. It's a lot on the hip joint. So, and the lower back and everything in that area. So what we're going to do first is warm up this area, go through the shape that's going to happen in the hip, and then we'll come into the full pose. So come down onto the mat with me. We're going to bring the hammock in front of us, so you can sit behind the hammock. And so for class, we do have a low hammock setting because for me, I have very low height with my rig. So if you have a low hammock, then you're going to be sitting down. If you don't have a low hammock, you've got the height of that hip height. I would recommend doing this in a standing position. You can do the same movement. So right foot's going to come into the hammock, or right ankle. I'm going to come into a seated tree, so you're bending into that left heel. I'll lean back on the hands. Just take a little gentle sway of that right leg from side to side. Just noticing how that right hip joint feels. Does it feel clunky? Is there any pain, tension? And if there is, you're going to do this for a little bit longer, just focusing on the breath. Nice long, calm breaths. Nice. So we're going to bring that foot out wide, holding it here. You're going to feel the outer thigh engage. That left knee might even lift up a little bit. So flexing through the right toes, taking a side body stretch. Right hand's going to come on the inside of the right leg. Left hand's going to reach up and over for a side body stretch. You're welcome to grab onto the hammock with that left hand to help propel and find something to grip on, so you're pulling against the hammock to help propel that shoulder open. Let's stay here for one more breath in. Can you find more length through the spine? Stay here for the exhale, twisting open through the heart. Nice. Left hand releases the hammock. You're going to take that right leg behind you and turn to the left. So coming in for a pigeon pose shape, your right knee is going to come to the ground as your heel comes up, bending at the knee. Check into that left knee. It's wider than your hip bones. You're in a pigeon pose shape through that right leg. Just staying here for a moment, squeezing through the right glute. You might even hug the legs down and towards the ground, especially if you're feeling a lot of sensation. Engage through the muscles. Lifting up through the heart. Nice, just holding here for a moment. Just noticing what you're noticing. How's the body feel here? Where are you feeling a stretch? And we're going to center that left hand. Reach your right hand back to grab the hammock. And you're going to turn your thumb down, so palm's going to lift up towards the sky. Bend that right heel into your glute. So thumb face down, elbow's going to turn up towards the sky. And then your left hand can grab the hammock as well. Flexing through those right toes. You can play with the tension on the hammock between your right ankle and your hands. This is going to increase the stretch in the hip, and it's going to be engaging through that lower back section in the right hip as well. You might even kick your foot into your hand, open up through the shoulders, finding more engagement through the lower back, the glute. You might also pull that right knee in towards your glute, so you'll pull through the hands to bring the ankle closer. And we'll take a couple more like that. So kicking your foot away, opening and engaging through the glute, the back of the muscles, opening through the front line of the body. And then pulling that right ankle in, pulling through the hands. Pressing the ankle away. And then pulling through the hands, pulling the ankle in. Nice. Come back to a neutral place, left hand down. And right hand's going to release. Rotating the hip back, so toes are facing the sky. This movement right here is going to be the biggest part of the pose that we're going to be doing. So just noticing if you need to rotate through the hip like this for a couple more times. If this is feeling pretty intense for you, or you feel like very clunky, or your body isn't moving that way, you can sort of lift up through the hip a little bit more. Just noticing how you can make this a little bit easier so you can get that full range of motion through the hip. Alrighty, centering through the sit bones, bring your left ankle into the hammock, take an inhale, reach both hands up, and then exhale, folding forward. You can grab onto the hammock to help fold forward over the feet, over the legs, feet. Take one more breath in, and breath out. Nice, lift your heart back over your hips, bring your right leg out of the hammock for a seated tree on the other side, left leg's inside of the hammock. You'll lean back on the hands and just take a little rock, sway through that left leg. In here for just a little while. Noticing how that left hip feels today. Couple more here, focusing on the breath. And we're gonna hold that left leg out wide. Bring your heart over your hips, flexing through the toes, engage the outer thigh to help keep the leg there. You're gonna come into a side body stretch. So left hand on the inside of the left leg, right hand's gonna reach up and over. And maybe you grip onto the hammock to find more of a pull and activation through the upper body to twist open through that right shoulder. Take an inhale, lengthen. Exhale, stay and twist. Nice. And releasing heart over hips. Right, so we're going to turn to the right, so bending or turning the toes to the front. So the knee rotates to the ground. Just check in if the hip likes that or not. And your right knee is going to be wider than your right hip. For your pigeon pose, just staying here for a moment, making any adjustments you need. Help settle through the hips. You're welcome to engage your legs against the ground, especially if you're feeling a lot of sensation. It's going to help bring blood flow and warm up the muscles so they can open up a little bit more easily. You're going to center your right hand. Your left hand's going to reach back for the hammock, pulling your heel in towards your glute so that you can rotate the elbow towards the sky and change the hand grip so it's thumb face down. Pulling in that left heel in towards your glute. As if you've slumped into that right side, try and center through the hips. And then we're going to press the heel away, open through the front line of the body. Take an inhale. As you exhale, pull the heel in towards your glute. Nice. And then kicking the foot away, open up. Exhale, pulling forward, ankle into the glute. One more time, inhale, kicking it away, open up. And exhale, pulling it in. And then releasing one hand at a time. Releases the hammock, rotating back into your seated tree. Just check into the hip. A couple more times like that, just rotating through the hip, knee towards the ground. And then toes towards the sky. Toes down and toes up. Take 2 more. Nice. And we'll come back through center. Bring both feet into the hammock or both ankles. Centering yourself. Take an inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, folding forward. 1 breath holding here. And exhale. Nice. Lifting up through the heart. Just one last shape. Bring the soles of the feet together. Knees will come wide and just fold over the legs. You're welcome to take a little rock here if that feels nice. We'll just hold in stillness. Notice if you'd like to round through the spine or lengthen through the spine. Notice if you want to pull the feet in, let them be where they are. Take 1 more big breath in and out. Nice, and then lifting the heart over the hips, release the feet, reaching on up. And we'll start to come into our pose today. So for our pose, you're going to come behind the hammock. We're going to bring the right foot to step onto the hammock. Yep, and make sure the hammock is all underneath the foot so that the toes and heel are on the outside. Reach up and come to standing without swinging. We're going to bring that left foot into an ankle lock. So bring that left foot wide and then wrap that toe around the front to step down. So a nice little ankle lock through that left foot. But we're going to use this back edge, the hammock that is at the right side. Open it up, finding an edge. When you found an edge, you can start to bring a shoulder in and then the glutes in. Opening it up all the way so you're sitting inside of the hammock. That left edge of the hammock, can you grab the left pole as you also grab that edge that you've opened up? You're going to bring the right foot into where your right hand is in the hammock. So press that right pole away. And then reaching that right toe all the way up. Not the most graceful way to get in, but it looks good after we get into it. Alright, you're going to lift up through the hips a little bit. We're going to rotate the knee down and into the hammock, trying to keep the knee on the inside. So bring the top of the foot into the hammock. You'll need to press the foot into the hammock and then bring that knee in. And then you'll bring your hips over your foot. So get this lovely back arch happening. You can press that pole in front of you all the way. You can also press that right foot into the hammock. When you've got more length in your hammock, you'll be able to spread this piece of the fabric wider behind you. But because my hammock is still quite low to the ground, or there's not as much hammock happening here, this is about as much shape as I can get. Just pressing open through the back as you lean to the front. And to come out, you'll bring your right foot down, grab both pieces of the fabric nice and high, and then you can bring one foot to the back and to the ground to come all the way out. So let's do that on the other side as well. You're going to step your left foot onto the hammock. And then reaching up, wrapping that right foot onto the hammock, so knee behind and wide, and then walking the toes around the front, stepping down into the fabric. Opening up the back edge to the one that's on the left. So you bring your shoulder and your glutes inside. That right edge is in your hand. You can grab the right pole as well. Starting to situate to the hips. So you're pressing that left piece away. Bring that left knee into your chest. And trying to get the toes as high up onto the hammock as you can. And then going to pull up and rotate that left knee into the hammock. As you come into your dancer's shape, you press that piece away behind you as you find your dancer's shape with an open hammock. This is your pose right here. When to come out, you'll bring the foot out, reach up and grab both pieces of the fabric. Bring the feet to the back and bring the foot to the ground. Both feet come out. So that is your class for today. Let me know how you went with the class in the comments down below. Also make sure to take a photo of your shape, share it on Instagram, tag me at Aerial Yoga Life, and then also use the hashtag AYL Instashapes. I look forward to seeing your practice, and until then, see you next time. Bye.